Aloha, friends and neighbors. Welcome to show 623. You know what karma's all about? Everybody talks about karma. Yeah, karma. Okay, I'll talk about karma a little bit. How to find out about your karma from your chart. Now, I define karma as a thread that runs through the life. As a certain color, a flavor, a certain bunch of stuff that seems to be a theme. A theme is a good way of putting karma, okay? And there's all kinds of it. How do you know about your own karma? Listen up. You look at the new moons and the full moons that occurred after you were born. And remembering that each one of these, by way of progressions, a year for a day, the first 30 days of your life is the first 30 years, the second 30 days is the second 30 years. Well, let's say you live 90 days, there could be like 3 new moons. And every time there's a new moon, it flavors it the next 29 years differently. So what you're out to do is you look up the new moons and the full moons. You do separate analysis. And all you do is look for the number. See? You just go look at the ephemeris. You know, this is a real easy book thing. You get your ephemeris out and you check the new moons just after you were born. Let's say they're all at 5 degrees. And it'll be 5 degrees Libra, 5 degrees Scorpio, 5 degrees Sagittarius. And there's these 3 new moons. Now you go look at your chart and you look for planets at 5 degrees. Maybe 4, maybe 6, but within 1 degree. You got a planet at 5 degrees? That's your karmic planet. That's the one that has all the emphasis in your chart. That's the theme, the flavor, the karma. No, I don't know if it's past life stuff. I don't know why it is. We don't know the causes of these things. But I can tell you it is your theme. And it's very easy to find. And in fact, you don't even need a chart when you get your ephemeris, unless it happens to be karma over your physical body, the rising sign, over your public reputation, the midheaven. Those 2 angles, you need a chart to find the numbers on those. But all the rest of the planets are in your ephemeris. So the same book that gives you the 3 or 4 new moons, 3 or 4 full moons, and gives you those numbers, the degree number, forget the minutes, then you can look in the same place and look at the planets when you were born and look for that first number as the degree and just look for 5s. And bang, there's the planet. Of course, it goes a lot further. You want to look at where the planet is, what sign it's in, what house it's in your chart, how does it make angles to the other planets. What you've done is you've put your finger on the player, on the stage of your life. Your life is like a play in 4 acts or something, and has these players we call planets. And what we're doing is looking for the player with that's going to be the theme character, that's really has the karma in your life. Very simple exercise. I'm going to show you how it works in Uncle Sam's chart in a second. Come on. Let's go get technical. Hi. Listen, I want to give you 3-4 minutes of a website, Alex Ansary. He does radio and TV shows, and he's the first one I've heard to talk about the sunspot solar flare activity coming up on human affairs. Okay, this is Outside the Box, edition 174.
Leading to extreme weather and human disruption. Fortunately, our planet's magnetic field diverts most particles in a circular path around the Earth. Like our weather patterns found on Earth, solar wind patterns can change rapidly. Luckily, our planet's magnetosphere quickly responds to the threat and absorbs the impact, wiggling and jiggling in the process. Geophysicists call this reaction a geomagnetic storm, but because of how it disrupts the Earth's magnetic field, it can also be called electromagnetic pollution. These storms, although minute, affect brainwaves and hormone levels, causing a number of different reactions, predominantly in males. While a few women may also experience changes during these storms, they generally seem less affected by the sun's behavior. Let me go back and tell you this was written by Dr. Beryl Payne. He's part of the National Council on Geocosmic Research. Reacting to changing hormone levels, some men become more increasingly irritable, may become more, and aggressive, while others may instead become more creative or spiritual. Again, energy coming in, what way that can go with someone might be up to them themselves and where they place their intent. Who knows what kind of information and insight is coming through. with the sun, its tones, and things of that nature. An increase in solar activity is found to increase psychotic episodes in individuals who already suffer from unstable psychological states. While we might relate to such behavior to a full moon, in 1963, Dr. Robert Becker and his colleague, Dr. Friedman, demonstrated that solar changes also lead to a noticeable increase in psychotic activity. Yet these reactions are not simply isolated to a few particularly sensitive or unlucky individuals. Evidence indicates that wars and international conflicts most often break out when sunspots are rapidly forming or rapidly decaying, as these are times when there are more intense geomagnetic storms. In addition, this increase in solar activity also correlates to periods of more accidents and illnesses, as well as an increase in crimes and murders, as if we didn't have the economic situation to deal with that just made those things worse, and also rapes and kidnappings and things of that nature. So what I'm trying to say is that there's a number of studies that have been done, and we're out of time so we can't go into all of it, that show that there is some sort of a relation to human activity, our psychological well-being, earthquakes, weather, and sunspot cycles, major ones that occur every 10 to 11 years. Where is the next one predicted to take place?
Well, he was about to tell you the end of 2010, but if you check out the internet and look at the scientists, there's a huge argument right now is going on all about, a huge argument about when the, when the solar flare cycle 24 starts. Anyway, it can start at any time, but how interesting that he got the thing confused about males. He doesn't know that it makes thick blood. He doesn't know the OBGYN history of it. That's why the men are surprised by it and the women are not, because it's the PMS symptoms. You could say solar flares and high winds and coronal holes that blast you from the sun, thicken your blood, and give us all PMS. It's the men that aren't used to PMS. Yes, that's the truth of it.